Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock in New York. It's 4 p.m. in Minneapolis, where that was footage from last night, where some University of Minnesota college students seem to be doing their best to ensure that ICE agents in their state were not able to get a good night's sleep, that they remain as sleepless as the people of Minnesota have been. They were banging pots and pans outside of the hotel where the ICE agents are reportedly staying as the ICE occupation of the state of Minnesota enters its third week. There is evidence today that for ICE, there are no lines of decency they won't cross. There are reports of traumatized young children, terrorized students of all ages, targeted immigrants, and bystanders who have all been subject to ICE's increasingly violent and indiscriminate tactics. The Washington Post today reports that ICE has been ramping up its targeting of children, including the sickening practice of using children to arrest the adults in their lives. This is what the Washington Post reports about what ICE agents did to 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos. Quote, after detaining his father, ICE officers then asked Liam to knock on the door to see if any other people were inside the home, quote, using a 5-year-old as bait, according to Liam's school district. Another adult living in the home who was outside at the time, quote, begged the agents to leave the child with them, the school district said. ICE agents refused to do that. 5-year-old Liam's middle school-age brother returned home 20 minutes later to find that his younger brother and father had been taken. And although it is difficult to believe that, and to believe that given the lawlessness we've already seen with our own eyes from Donald Trump's ICE, the legal safeguards restraining ICE agents are actually becoming even more frayed. The AP is reporting today that in a reversal of a long-standing policy intended to protect constitutional rights, DHS officers are now asserting the power to forcibly enter people's homes without a judicial warrant. And that's where we start the hour with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Senior national political reporter Jacob Soboroff is on the ground for us still in Minneapolis. With us here at the table, Puck News senior political columnist and national affairs analyst John Heilman's here, and the former senator, political analyst Claire McCaskill joins us. Jacob Soboroff, off TV, as soon as I see these stories, I send them to you. I'm asking if you've got reporting on the ground or from your sources if they're true. And increasingly, every single one of them comes back with the same response from you. Yes. Take me through some of this reporting that we shared in our setup.
I thought today, Nicole, temperature right now, -3 feels like -22 in Minneapolis. I thought today might be a relatively quiet day with Greg Bavino speaking inside to start the day, Chief Patrol Agent of the Border Patrol leading these operations across the country, J.D. Vance being here in Minneapolis speaking. But it did not stop the wide-scale, indiscriminate stops of people on the streets of Minneapolis, including 6 blocks away from the killing of Renee Nicole Good, where we, just as we were driving around South Minneapolis, rolled up on a massive operation taking place. I want to show you what we saw in real time as it unfolded today. Nicole, watch this.
This is East 36th and Columbus Ave, and there's an ongoing operation right here. You can see that these are Federal Bureau of Prisons officers, and down the alley, there are multiple vehicles engaged in an operation right now. All of these ICE observers are out here, and this is what happens. We're driving down the street and literally stumbled upon this. This is what it looks like in real time. Look, they got someone in the back of that vehicle right there. They're just grabbing people up there. So behind us, they hit somebody with what looks like pepper spray or some kind of other irritant. That's what happens here. Now they're tending to that person. It's no wonder people are scared. People are terrorized in communities like this.
Nicole, so the deployment of flashbangs we saw, pepper spray deployed on a protester or an ICE watcher who was in the neighborhood. We asked DHS who that person was they were targeting, what they were accused of, if anything at all, and we have not yet heard back. What happens in these operations as well, whether it's the 5-year-old Liam or whoever was abducted today off of the streets, apprehended, they just get back in their cars and they drive away. They leave the scenes just as quickly as they found them, and they leave the people behind in their wake. This continues to play out, and it is exactly what we've seen time and time and time again. Look at these are the guys running away, just as we saw them earlier today, Nicole.
Who is protecting the rights of, for example, a 5-year-old?
Yeah, it's a wonderful question. There are organizations across the country, namely Kids in Need of Defense, who have made it their mission for decades to make sure every child in immigration custody has the right to counsel. But even they will tell you that some of the guardrails that have been put into place under previous administrations to be able to be well funded, to be able to find these children in custody, have been ripped away under this administration. I wish I had a better answer than whoever is able to get to them, to have the resources to track them down in custody and figure out where they are. Alex Tavitt, our producer and reporter who is with me here, asked J.D. Vance today about Liam. And when the ICE officials, the Border Patrol officials, stepped to the podium, they could not say with certainty what his fate would be, where he is, what ultimately is going to happen, Nicole. That's the reality of this labyrinth of a system funded tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, more people in immigration custody than ever before, and children are caught in the middle of this. We've talked about how this is mass deportation, it's family separation. You are witnessing it play out in real time on the streets of Minneapolis.
I want to ask you about two other headlines, both of them national, that the Associated Press is reporting that there's a memo now ushering in a policy where no warrant is needed to enter people's homes. Is that playing out in Minneapolis?
It's certainly what it appears. We saw the situation with the U.S. citizen who was detained days ago, and it seems as we drive around the city and we hear reports from ICE observers, and obviously these are individual situations, and I haven't confirmed all of them, that these appear as indiscriminate as the raids that are happening on the street every day. And Nicole, as often happens here, only time will tell if we can get inside these agencies, if we can get the documents, the reporting. But it's all happening so fast by design that we're not able to keep up with it in real time. That's why it's so important to be on the street like this.
Jacob, you were here the day that Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed in her car. You were here the next day. Some of those days blurred together, but I believe that happened on a Wednesday. You were here Wednesday, Thursday,
That's right.
and Friday with us. It feels like for the people of Minneapolis, time may have stopped. But I remember one of the questions I asked you that day is if a mom on her way after dropping her kid off from school doing a 3-point turn in the ice gets shot in the face, how are they treating the detainees? Washington Post reported last night of a possible homicide in a detention center. What do we know? What is the quality of our information about the conditions inside detention centers?
I have to tell you, Nicole, having been inside some of these detention centers myself, most notably the Adelanto ICE Detention Center in the high desert outside of Los Angeles, where inspectors general reports have talked about people attempting to hang themselves with nooses. I saw a man in the fetal position in solitary confinement, curled up on the floor. That was in the last Trump administration, and they let me into that facility deliberately to allow me to see it myself, just like they did under family separation. We don't have the access inside those facilities now, and the best we can do is get reports from attorneys who are able to get information from clients inside, but even those are hard to come by. As the system expands, as people are snatched indiscriminately off the streets, all I can tell you is what I have seen inside, that these private prisons are only growing, that the number of people who are being detained is only increasing, which makes you have to wonder how bad it is in there, knowing how bad it has been.
Jacob Soboroff, please go get warmer than you are right now. Thank you so much for being there for us, my friend.